Alright, welcome to the pre-release guide to the new 5-star limited Erudition Quantum character, Jade. We're going to go over relic sets and ornament sets that could work with her while also discussing different Lightcone options, going over both signature Lightcones and options you can farm. Additionally, going over what stats and traces you should prioritize to get the best possible results for her as soon as possible. Finally, go over her best teammates. So let's dive into the Senior Investment Manager, Jade. Jade is going to be an interesting unit to say the least. She can fit into two main teams, the first being a follow-up attack team and the second being a pure AoE team, as she herself can achieve both playstyles. With her basic, Jade is able to focus on dealing damage to a single target and in the process deal damage to adjacent enemies. For her skill, Jade applies to one ally the Debt Collector status. Once under this status, the ally's speed increases by 30%, and whenever the Debt Collector ally attacks, they will lose HP equal to 2% of their max HP, and you deal additional damage equal to the percentage of Jade's attack to each enemy hit. If Jade is the ally selected for the Debt Collector status, she does not gain the speed boost or HP loss. By doing this, according to her talent, you gain 1 charge, and for every attack by the ally with the Debt Collector. Once you do reach 8 charges, Jade will launch a follow-up attack to all enemies. When doing so, you will instantly gain 5 stacks of pawned asset after launching this follow-up attack, and with each stack of pawned asset, Jade's crit damage increases, stacking up to 50 times. For Jade's ultimate, you will be dealing massive damage to all enemies while in the process enhancing your own follow-up attack for 2 turns, increasing its multiplier by 80%. If you use Jade's technique before entering battle, you will inflict enemies with the Blind Fealty debuff, preventing them from attacking allies, while also dealing damage and granting Jade 15 stacks of pawned asset. Finally, for Jade's traces, the first trace will grant Jade 1 stack of pawn asset whenever she enters battle, while also gaining 3 stacks whenever an ally with the Debt Collector's turn starts. The second trace will advance Jade's action forward by a percentage when entering battle, and finally the last trace will increase Jade's attack by a percentage for each stack of pawned asset she currently has. For Lightcone options again, and typically the best option in terms of premium choices is going to be her signature, increasing her crit rate by 16 to 28%, and while in battle for every 20 crit damage over 120%, your follow-up attack will be increased by 12 to 20%, stacking up to 4 times. And after using your basic attack, your ultimate and follow-up attack will ignore 20 to 30% of the enemy's defense, lasting for 2 turns. Next is Genuine's Lightcone, as your crit damage will increase by 36 to 60%, while also increasing ultimate damage by 18 to 30%. Also, whenever you use your skill or ultimate, you gain a stack of Somnus Corpus, and when using a follow-up attack, you consume the Somnus Corpus, increasing the follow-up attack by 48 to 80%. For free options, the new Shop Lightcone is a fantastic option as your attack will increase by 8 to 12%. Once you attack for every enemy hit, it's going to increase your attack by 4 to 8%, stacking 5 times and lasts until your next attack. If you hit 3 or more enemies, you're going to increase your speed by 8 to 16%, lasting for 1 turn. For 4-star options, first is the Day the Cosmos Fell, providing 16 to 24% attack boost, and when you attack 2 enemies with corresponding weaknesses, it's going to further increase your crit damage by 20 to 40%, lasting for 2 turns. And Genius's Repose, increasing attack by 16 to 32%, and whenever you defeat an enemy, your crit damage increases by 24 to 48% for 3 turns. Now we move to Relics, and the new set, Wind Soaring Valorous, will increase attack by 12%, while also increasing your crit rate by 6%. And when you launch a follow-up attack, your ultimate will do 36% more damage for 1 turn. And much like all follow-up attack units, the Grand Duke set is fantastic, increasing your follow-up damage by 20%, attack by 6% when you use a follow-up attack, stacking 8 times. And since Jade is a quantum unit, you can run the Genius set, allowing you to bypass 10% of the enemy's defense, and when the enemy has a quantum weakness, further ignore 10% of the defense. Now let's move to ornament sets, and again, the new set, Durin Dynasty of Running Wolves, will grant 1 stack of merit per follow-up attack, stacking 5 times. and each stack of merit increases damage of follow-up attacks by 5%. Once you do reach 5 stacks, you will increase your crit damage by 25%. Next is the Sigonia set, increasing crit rate by 4%, and when you defeat an enemy, it's going to increase the crit damage by 4%, stacking 10 times. And finally, Inert Salsado, increasing crit rate by 8%, and when your crit rate reaches 50% or higher, your ultimate and follow-up attacks will deal 15% more damage. For teammates, while her best teammate will most likely be the other Phase 2 banner character Argenti, as he is a character who can really easily hit all units pretty much for the most time to help dish out the most damage with corresponding to Jade's skill. Much like both Herta and Himiko, I honestly think the most fun team for Jade will be to place her with Blade, as you will be synergizing perfectly with each other, allowing for Blade to lose HP quickly, and Blade's AoE follow-up attack will dish more damage with Jade's skill. But in terms of raw damage, Jade has the capability to reach main DPS status with little help from allies.